Well, we'll play to win. If there's something on the line for our team, we'll address everybody that's healthy and ready to go. Which I like. Not a fan of sitting guys out. Not a fan of because then you're a week between games. I'm not a big fan of that. So everybody plays. Verhaeghe's good to go, so he's back in the lineup tonight. Ekman Larson won't play. He could. I mean that, but there's no sense in putting him in. And away we go.
So who's coming out tonight?
Yeah, Barkov in. Yeah. I'm sorry?
Who is coming out tonight?
We'll have Gadjevich, Stenlund, and Cousins on the 4-hole.
Looking at the team, obviously, the last stretch, you always want to be playing your best hockey heading to the playoffs defensively. Haven't been out much lately. Do you like where the team's at now heading to this last game?
Yeah, I do. We had a pretty good idea what it was going to look like right from almost the middle of March on with the way our schedule was laid out, and it pretty much went to script. We bobbled a little bit. We had some injuries, some people kind of moving parts where it's the first time all year we're kind of good on some nights and didn't win, and then won on some nights, and then I think we've kind of cleaned that back up.
Defensively, is Tobias Bjornfoot coming in for Oliver Thornton?
No, Mahura will.
When you're playing a team that you could face in
Yeah.
the playoffs, does that make a difference? Like, is it a measuring stick game? Is it a message sending game? Or
No, I never really believed in that. I never really that. What happens tonight will have nothing to do with how you come into that first game. I mean, both teams have, I think, a real healthy respect for the other team. They've also had enough success in games. Like there've never been lopsided games or games that they've been exciting. They've been loose. I think this year during the regular season, kind of a little bit more loose than we'll see in the playoffs. But I think because we know each other so well, there's no new wrinkle or new secret or new idea that, oh boy, we didn't expect that to happen, right? Everybody, they got great players. We got great players. It'll be if we play each other, it'll be a hell of a series.
How would you describe the case Barkov has made this year for the Selke?
So I would say strong and quiet. I would say it resembles his personality. Right? He's not going to. He will be doing no marketing program for the award. What I think is special is that he's in consideration for the Selke and his wingman's a 50-goal man. So he didn't. And that's also what's special about Sam Reinhart's season. He's never in behind the plate. He scored 50. He wasn't cheating the game. He wasn't staying late on power plays. They weren't forcing feeding. They went out and played the game. For the most part, they play against the other team's best every night. And they've had at each an exceptional season.
when you look sort of macro at the league right now, you guys are, and Boston still haven't figured it out.
Right.
Team 82, bunch of teams
Yeah.
still trying for the wild card. Is it sort of a testament of the coach's message? Every game matters.
I think it's the players are smart enough that they don't need the coaches to tell them that.
Right.
Because you look around the league and it's a very even landscape. That well, we were the kind of the fly in the ointment to this theory, because last year we had 92 points and won the Eastern Conference, so that's possible. Well, I don't know what number, and I want to sign it, but there's a whole bunch of teams that are looking at each other and going, saying, well, if they're better than us, they're not that much better than us. It's close enough. And whether it's an injury or a hot goaltender, it's realistic for a big chunk of teams to win the Stanley Cup. It's not, hey, win a round and we're happy. There'll be a whole bunch of sour teams this year after the first round, because you could feel that if you won that round, you could have won the Stanley Cup, which is going to make, not that the first assault is incredibly intense, but I don't think you have a lot of casual teams coming in going, hey, we're playing with house money, let's go have some fun. Everybody's coming in thinking, we got a chance.
With Austin on the doorstep of 70, in what ways do you feel like that influences tonight's game, if at all? Like, are you expecting that to influence what you see on the other side? Do you think your guys will be geared up for it to stop him, or?
Won't matter, because he's got almost 70 of them, and everybody's been geared up to stop him, so that has no effect. I think it's more of a Toronto thing, and you watch that, and I would do the exact same thing. You get an offensive zone face-off. So at this time of year with them locked out, he's coming out 1-4 at best, right? Maybe 1-6. But when you're sitting on 69 goals, it's an offensive don't draw. He's coming back out, and you have to. there's not a rest issue here, right? We're all getting 2 or 3 days off after this game, and we're going to play. He's going to be 100% fresh. So you get a guy, like, I hope he gets it. I prefer it wasn't tonight, but it's a phenomenal story, and it's such an unusual thing to happen. It'd be the same way as, man, we're cheering for Sam Reinhart to get 50. 50 goals is a big deal. And then you get somebody closing in on 70. We just want it not to be tonight. And we will focus on their elite players the same way we would every other game. And hopefully he can get it tomorrow.
How big is it to get Carter Verhaeghe back with a tune-up game here for him before you get?
It's good for us. Carter went down. Our power play kind of went down a little bit. You know, he's the. We were trying to attach a word to him. He's not the catalyst to it. He's kind of the fixer to it because he can get on a puck from a corner. He's such a good skater. His puck retrieval is great. And then what happens is you're banging around and everybody thinks we're trying to get it to Reinhart, and then Verhaeghe gets it in an unusual spot and it's bar down and it's in, and it's 1 or 2 when you need it for your power play to stay hot. So he's kind of been the fixer for our power play. And then this is, like, it feels like fairly close to our forward group. I don't feel like we've had that since Calgary, right? Like a month, 5 weeks ago, we started to lose guys into injury, and so I don't feel like we've had our group together once. So we'll get fairly close to it. Ekblad is definitely ready to play for game 1. He'll be back in. Larson will be back in. So other than the things that we can't control in terms of tonight's game and through the practices this week, we should be pretty healthy. Stoley plays tonight.
Why Stoli tonight?
Oh, that was part of the rotation straight through. That had always been planned for him to go. Yeah, we've been almost like, we haven't really changed our thoughts on a goaltending rotation that we laid out 2 or 3 weeks in advance. I don't think we changed it all year. Sat down and said this probably will play out like this, and it did. So it's been good for our goaltenders mentally to, you know, and then we've got Sergei a real good number where he feels good. It's good to get Anthony in as many games as we did. We've got lots of faith in him, so we feel our rotation's right.
It's kind of a weird schedule with a week, well, 4 days for you guys to play, but then for Bob it's like a week.
Yeah, so that's not an issue for him. Like, once he decides that this is what's happening, then he has enough experience to make that block work well for him. He's not a young man trying to find his way through the game. He knows that he's not playing for this many days. He's got it all scheduled, and he's fine.
Have you already laid out what it looks like in the playoffs and how different is the rotation than the regular season?
Yeah, we don't do that. I never have.
For the playoffs, you just...
We got one number 1 goalie, and he'll be starting game 1. And we'll always have a number 1 goalie in the net. Yeah, I never look past that. You don't know whether you're playing a 4-game series and you're golfing or you're playing 4 7-game series. So that was just, you can't tell what your lineup's going to look like. You play the game, and then you read and react, as they say.
How good is it for Stolarz to get into an important game like this
Yeah.
with the division on the line? I mean, how good is that for his confidence just going forward?
Well, yeah, I would imagine he feels that faith that we have in him. But I would think that he felt that long before, and he certainly earned it. It's not just on the numbers. You've seen the games that he's played, and I don't know much about goaltending, but what I do see is also maturation in his game, a change in his style of game a bit to be more efficient and patient in the net. His numbers are just, you know, as good as there are in the league, and we have confidence in him completely.
Big news yesterday, Bill Zito.
Yeah, wonderful.
He's obviously the reason you're here.
Right.
He got you here. What did you just notice about Bill and kind of what makes him the GM that he is, and maybe has led to all this success here at Florida?
Well, the driver is he's an incredibly smart man. Like he views the game in a way. He's very curious. He asks an awful lot of questions, but that's the underlying capacity. But really, I feel what Bill is connected to every single piece of this, and you know it because you know him, right? And you know him, and the people that interact daily, all the trainers know him, the medical guys. He's involved with them every day, the coaches, the players. Absolutely lets you work. completely defers to you in the end, but will ask you questions in a positive way. And the biggest one is, how can we get better? Why do we do it that way? I know you. I don't think I'm going to do him justice in terms of how unique his style is around this room and how important he is to this group. But you know the answer to that because you've worked with him every day. And he kind of brings an energy every single day. He is tireless, and his ability to focus on details for hours on end, have that discussion and move on to another one, and have that capacity to stay on task. Yeah, most of the coach, we need a nap, and he's on question number 2, right? Like he's a driving force. I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his family. Certainly happy for the Florida Panthers because it's just fun coming to work in this environment. I'm happy for him and his family, and he earned it.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Great.
All right, guys.
Thank you.